Yo, what's up, guys? This is Dusiko from Gadgetberry, and today I'm coming back with those SMD tutorials. Basically, not tutorials because the word tutorial sounds a bit more professional, because it's just a guide of me explaining as to how you can go about the process of buying cars online on SMD using your mobile device. Now, this can be your Android, can be an Apple device, can be a Windows phone, any operating OS can do this with the phone. You can also do this on your laptop if you want to see things a bit more clearer and larger. But for the convenience of those that do not have laptops at their disposals, so you guys know that you can also do this and just browse through cars on this auction company online. Now, SMD, for those of you that do not know, is a car online, not really online, but it's a car auction company. They offer online auctions, meaning that you can buy at the comfort of your own home. And they also offer branch auctions, meaning that you can just go to their auctions and bid on cars live. Depends on your preferences as to what you like. Do you prefer buying a car that you haven't even inspected physically with your naked eye? Because abanye abantu like I don't want to buy ingulube esisakeni and shit like that. So basically they want to see the car physically and inspect it with their technician, or if they are if they are mechanic, or if they are mechanically inclined, they can do that themselves. Well, pretty much a lot of people that have experience with driving cars, they can inspect a car and see if it's got potential or if it's too roughed up for their liking. Now, how you go about with this process with buying cars at SMD online? What you do is just search SMD. So I've already done that, but I'm just gonna do it again for the purpose of the video. So SMD, and the first link that pops up, it's got a blue logo. So it's asking if I can allow it for my location. Asking for me to permit it for my location. I'm just gonna block that. Just because I'm not buying right now. I don't like apps prying on my location for no good reason. But moving on forward, when you get into this app, this is the home screen. This is how the home screen looks like. You see branch auctions most of the time, and you see some cars from daily online auctions, which is my favorite option. Like, I like to go to the online daily auctions because they give you the actual pricing. They show you where the car started, like the lowest amount that the car was at, and they show you the maximum that it's currently at in terms of the bids. They show you who bid and when they placed the bid, so you can see who you're competing with. If a person has maybe placed a numerous number of bids, and you can see that this person is really interested or keen on the car. So you must come there with a budget, go there with a budget, because if you're not, you're gonna end up doing things off the heart, like, because competition can kind of temper with sober thinking, so to speak. So just don't go in there to compete. Go in there with a set budget, a set maximum budget, because most of these cars you're gonna have to do something. You're gonna have to fix them, and you don't wanna buy a car for a car that sells for 6,000 rands. You're gonna buy it for 55 grand and then have to pay 20 grand to fix it, because now you're spending 75 grand. So you've wasted like over 10 grand in access. So let's just go straight to online daily sales option. So I'm just gonna view all the online daily sales. What I always advise people to do when they get here is to just leave the filters as they are, unless if you wanna go there and physically inspect the car, or if you don't mind going out of the province and going to inspect the car, say in Jersey or Cape Town or maybe Eastern Cape. Go there, inspect the car, and have it delivered to KZN or whichever province that you're in. But I believe that you should just leave the filters as they are. But SMD does have branch auctions in East London, so that's Eastern Cape, Port Elizabeth in Eastern Cape, Bloemfontein in Free State, SMD Boxback. They also have a branch in Boxback, which is in Gauteng. They also got Chamdo in Gauteng, SMD External. Now this one is new. They also have one in Pretoria, one in Sandton, one in Vereeniging, one in Durban, Polokwane, Nelspruit, Western Cape, pretty much all over South Africa, all over the country. So it's up to you, but don't be afraid to ship the car in because it's not that expensive. I mean, it's less than 5 grand. Because the pricings of the cars, they actually differ in terms of the local markets. So they differ. Like pricings in Jersey are not the same as pricings in Durban. Pricings in Cape Town are not the same as pricings in Durban. The value of the similar vehicle varies per province. So you might get it too cheap on another province, and won't even mind to pay that extra 2, 3, or 5 grand. Now that's just a ballpark of logistics to ship the car back into your own province. Now you'd have to do your own research, but that doesn't really become too much of a problem because these people that ship cars in, they don't only ship one car from province to province. They ship a lot of cars from province to province for different locations, and they pick up and drop in different locations, so it becomes more efficient in an economy, and for the economy to actually become cheaper, because then they attract more business. So if they're gonna be shipping in 10 to 20 cars, then your car can be one of those cars. They can't charge you a fortune. I don't think anything over 5 grand for just a small sedan or hatchback. Now moving on to the cars, you see a nice Mercedes Benz. It's a Vito 113 CDI diesel. Now this one will be nice for just a lifestyle. If you wanna convert it or anything, make it like your motorhome. Remove that hood and the top to make it look nice and funky. Put some windows because it seems like a panel van, or maybe you wanna use it for business. Because for 15 grand, man, this one is a steal, bro. It's a steal. You need to work on that diesel lead there, that fuel lead. I like the fact that the feature that you can browse the car in a 360 view before you actually go to the actual pictures. Now that's a feature that SMD usually uses. Now asking me to send it to Papa. No, 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 no. Thank God it didn't stop my recording. Now I'm actually at 10%. And big ups to my Oppo. It's still kicking like I never charged it the whole of yesterday, and it's still at 10% today. So you see the time right now is 11:40. So it's pretty strong, and I give it to this phone. Now let's go to the additional pictures and see what else is racked on these bands. It's a panel van. You see all the parts still at the back. The interior is looking neat in terms of the dashboard. The chairs are a bit ripped on the side, but the main frame of the chairs is looking quite neat, and the fabrics are not torn or anything. So it's not gonna be much of a repair. And plus two, if you're buying this car for a lifestyle or stuff like that, you'd actually put leather seats so that's not a train smash. This one has almost 500,000 in mileage, so prepare yourself to buy a new engine, buddy. But it seems like the electronics are still working good because you see it displays everything on the gauge cluster. Like that's what I look for mainly. If the car is still it's still showing a sign of life, if it's still showing the exact kilometers, the time, maybe some trip computer information there, so and still calculating everything right, so it's still showing some life within the computer box, because that's the heart of the vehicle. I don't care about the engine. It's a mechanical component. But if the price is too good like this car is going at 15 grand minimum at the moment. That's the current bid amount. So I bet you not. This one's not gonna sell at over 30 grand. And if you can get yourself a nice engine for 40 grand or 30 grand, nice solid engine, maybe for the newer models, put it on this vehicle, work on it. So maybe you get the engine for 30 grand, plus the 30 grand you spent on this car, that's 60. You do some body work for 10 to 20 grand, that's 80. This car is on 500,000 miles, but you can just forego that and negotiate with the buyer or whoever that you're gonna be selling this to, and tell them, look, I put the new engine. You can even see the engine number, that there's a new engine in this vehicle. And obviously when you buy an engine, they tell you what's the mileage on that engine, so you can actually pass that new mileage onto the new owner and tell them, maybe this car's are like 200k, this engine has 200 kilometers on it, and here's proof. But that's just another advice in terms of buying and selling vehicles. So you can sell this for a solid 100 or 150,000 rands in South Africa, very easy. This is a car that I'd forgo, but considering the fact that this is the second time I'm recording this video, I know what it has to offer. So I'm just gonna click it right now, because previously I wasn't interested in it until I ended up clicking it for some reason, and I saw that it's just packing a lot of features to ignore, a lot of advantages to actually buy this vehicle at this price point. This one is a Kia Sorento EX. And we know that when there's an X on the modeling of the vehicle, it's usually the high spec in terms of features and comfortability of the vehicle. This one even has fog lights, and it rides very high. It looks like a nice truck. I don't know if it's a seven-seater or what. That I never noticed much about, but it's looking very, very, very nice and solid. You're just gonna need to paint this vehicle because there's not dents that I can actually see. And wow, boy, those tires. Look at that door, bro. What? Electric windows front and back. Spare wheel compartment over there. And I'm sure this sounds very good because I see speakers all over the vehicle. And usually these big cars like this don't play in terms of sound. Now the star of the show. There's the queen of the show. The engine. You're gonna need to buy a new engine here. This one is pretty roughed up at 319,744 kilometers for a Kia. You need to buy yourself a new engine, brother, man. Trust me. Now let's view extra pictures. So let's just say you get this car at 15 grand, get yourself an engine for 20 grand, 20 or 30 grand, uh, to be less ambitious because it's quite a big engine. So let's just say you get it for 25 grand as a median, or as a median. It's just 25 grand. And on top of your 15 grand that you spend, that's 40 grand plus 10 grand after labor, that's 50 plus paint at 7 grand because it's quite a huge car, that's 57. This mileage is too high, but of course you pass on the mileage of the new engine. That takes you to about like 70,000 rand in spending, and you can sell this car for 100, easy. I can sell this car for 100 or 110 easy. I know a lot of people that will buy it. And moving on further, there's a nice G6 1.6 TDI. It's not a starter. The price is at, this car was uninsured. The price is at 200. The pricing is at 45,000 at the moment. Nice. It's the fog light spec. Let's see the 360 view. Pretty roughed up on the wheels, but nothing much on the body. The lights are a bit dimmed, so I see you need to work on the body quite a bit, and you need to like paint it all over again. But at 45 grand, I think it is still too. And it's not starting. Prepare. It's an automatic. Yo, yeah, I wouldn't know much about going for a non-starter automatic, but I love this vehicle. I think I'd actually go for it. I think I'd risk. But it's a diesel vehicle too, and it's not starting. Nah, not too sure. Now here's an interesting one. It looks like a skeleton of a 2018 Sim Blaze X S200 bike. I've had one of these before. Uh, this caught my eye, but when I further inspected it, I was like, no, no, this thing doesn't even have an engine. But as I further inspected it and checked the extra pictures, I saw the engine. I think I'm gonna bid on this one because obviously I do have that motorbike company and I'd like to add more bikes, but this one already comes with the box. It comes with the engine on the side. I know a good technician who can just assemble this whole thing, but first work on the components, of course, buy all the missing parts. And at first glance, I thought it doesn't even have the plastic parts, the carbon fiber parts, but it actually does have them. There's the key there on the starter. Here's the engine. Here's the gearbox. The tires are still good, and that 350, man, it's actually cheaper than the box on its own. But this one comes with the delivery box. No major tears on the seats or whatever. You just need to work on this vehicle, and maybe if I s- may- maybe if may, I think this 350 is gonna go up to like 2,000, maybe 1.5. So if I spend 2,000 on it and I ship it in for 2 grand, let's just say I ship it in for 2 grand. So I've spent no, 2 grand is too much for this. Maybe 1.5. So I've spent about 2 grand, 3.5, and then I take this to my technician. He says the service is gonna be maybe to actually start the whole process, and it's a grand. So I've spent 3.5. That's 3.5, and then he tells me the parts to buy. These parts are quite cheap. And then he says maybe like the whole thing that I need to buy, I need to spend like 2 grand on the parts. I spent 2 grand. Then I'll spend 5 on the bike piece by piece, and then like slowly by slowly, like no rush, slowly but surely. Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I meant to say. And then so that's 5.5, and then I pay him maybe like a grand later to actually finish the job. That's 6.5, and I got my bike on the road. You understand? Because this thing is fully legal. It's got the papers and everything. And here's a 2010 Toyota Fortuner. It's going at 230,500 rands, and this is a starter. And you see the STC says no, meaning that it's not subject to confirmation. You can actually buy this right now if you need it. It's got a small side smash, considering the fact that it's going at 230,500. This thing sells for close to 1 million. And this is a 2010 Toyota Fortuner 2.4 liter. You can even see the sharp creases on the grille that this is a newer model. Now let's see the 360 and see if there's any other damage except the one that we see. Well, you see that the bumper is a bit ripped off, but not much on the side profile of the vehicle. You need to work on the bonnet and the bumper. The rear is pretty solid. Small dents in the back, but it's nothing related to the smash, I presume. Maybe you'd have to spend like maybe say 5 grand on the lights, and spend maybe 10 grand, 10 to 15 grand on the airbags, because since the airbags popped. Maybe do the body for another 20. Maybe a solid 100 grand will fix this vehicle. 100,000, yeah, will fix this car, and you can sell it. Maybe this car's gonna go for like 245,000 rands when it goes. I think tomorrow, because it's got like 20 hours, 9 minutes, 40 seconds left. It started at let me check. It started at, wow, so many bits. It started on the 13th May at just towards 5 o'clock at 112,000 rands. Now it's at two. Now that is doubled. It's almost tripling now. Now that's 230,500 rands. And I see C149762 has had his eyes on the car since 62 since 113,500. We see him again at 116. We see him again at 122. We see him again at 134. We see him again at 137, 143, 149, 152, all the way up to 191, 200,500, and right now he's at 230,500. He's leading, so he really wants the car. So if you were here with a budget of 150,000 or 200,000, leave this car alone. Don't go further, because you're gonna break the budget. And but then it depends on who you are. A lot of people that are bidding on these cars have a lot of money, and this car has a very good mileage, 37,099 kilometers, and it's a starter. This car was previously insured, so yeah, I understand why a lot of people have their eyes on this vehicle. Now let's see the interior. Wow, the airbags are popped, and people are bidding for this car non-stop. They're not playing, and it's not even the high spec one. I see the digital. I mean the gauge cluster. It's nice and funky, but it doesn't have the full functions that you get with the higher spec ones. Wow. Okay. Now let's move on to something else. Yeah, this Polo. It's going at 49 grand. It's a Polo. It's a 2015 Volkswagen Polo GP 1.6 Comfort Line. It's looking neat. Besides, because it's got nice and clean front. Besides that tow cover open there, it shows that this car was towed, or maybe it's been towed a number of times before. Maybe it's like a telltale of a lot of things. You see the bumper is ripping off just quite a bit. It's not a bumper, but that's the bottom grill is ripping off. It's just small telltales that give you a hint about cars, and how it's been taken care of by the previous owner. You see that the door, the fuel lead is no longer there. So you see that there's some bodywork that's been done on the left rear area. Now let's see the internal, the interior pictures. Yeah, let's see the interior pictures. On the same area on the interior rear on the left hand side, you see that the door pad has been ripped out. I do not know, maybe I don't know what they did. Maybe they just put a new door that didn't have a pad or whatsoever. Maybe this car had a smash there, because I see that some body work was being done. Because besides that, it's got a nice flat bottom steering and everything is looking neat on this vehicle. Besides that thing I saw on the left rear area. Nice interior. The mileage is at 200 and something, 200,000. Like, I can't see it clearly on the odometer. This car goes up to 240,000, so 240 kilometers. And it still has a remote key, so you know that this car was never stolen and recovered or anything like that. Nice 1.6 engine. It's looking very neat. So yeah, that's gonna be the last car. But one of the cars I wouldn't go for is that 2006 Ford Territory TX automatic, not starting, at 16 grand, 4 liter. Wow, I wouldn't go for that. That thing is a fuel eater. I know a friend of mine, like, his aunt bought this thing and they used to fill up for two grand, and it used to last her for, like, I don't know, a week or less. She used to complain. I don't know if she has sold it, but the posts have dropped on social media. So nah, I don't think this guy's still around. This was a fuel eater, fuel drinker. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, just drop a like or a comment down below. Really appreciate my subscribers, and if you're new to the channel, just subscribe. And I hope you guys are having a good day, because I'm definitely having myself a good one here. Peace.